Today's video is going to be all about sparkly makeup dupes, especially affordable alternatives to high-end sparkly makeup products. I did a video exactly like this a couple of weeks ago and had so much fun making it that I wanted to come back with a part 2. In almost every example I'm going to show, the alternative is significantly more affordable. In a couple, it's around the same price, but a brand that tends to go on sale a decent amount. A lot of the high-end products I'm going to show are viral, beloved products. Some of them have also been trending recently and are just timeless products in general. And as I like to do in all videos like this, I'm going to demo every product. First, we're going to start off with a product from Tower 28. These are the jelly eyeshadow sticks, and specifically, this is the shade Garden, which is the ethereal purple shade. And these shadow sticks from Tower 28 are relatively new, like they've come out in the last few months. They are really pretty, they look nice on the lids, kind of give a wet, shiny sheen, but they're not very sparkly in my opinion. They're definitely pretty, but not my own personal preference. So the alternative I have is actually not really more affordable, but products from Joocyee do tend to go on sale quite a bit, or you can find them at a reasonably good discount. This is the shade Iridized Violet. It retails for about the same price at $20 unless you get it at a discount, but it's incredibly sparkly. I like it better, and in case you don't have access to Tower 28, I think that this is really even a better alternative to the Tower 28 one. Both of them have a really nice formulation. I just find the Joocyee one to be more opaque and more sparkly, which is my preference. Okay, next we have a product from Kaja Beauty that's been around for quite some time. It's actually one that I used several years ago and kind of forgot about it. But honestly, these are so good, and I think I fell back in love with it when I tried it on again. This is the shade Luminary. I would describe this as an icy taupe, and it comes in this little squeezy tube. You basically apply it. You do have some playtime before it dries down, but once it dries, it sets completely. And it has a beautiful wear time. I really do like the intensity of these. These are on Amazon for about $17 and YesStyle for about $13. And actually, the formula that I'm going to compare it to is Moira, and Moira makes so many affordable, really great sparkly products. And they have these prism pops, and the concept of these is pretty much identical to the Kaja ones. Of course, the shades I'm showing aren't the same, but if you like this type of product, I highly recommend also checking out the Moira. This is the shade Sugar Plum, which I'm pretty obsessed with because it's kind of giving the blue-brown duochrome shift. It's also more sparkly, and in case you're wondering, it wears beautifully on the eyes. I also have a discount code with Moira that I'm going to pop up on the screen now. And next, I have one of the Patrick Ta duos. This is the shade We Need Better Lighting, and these hurt me to buy because they're so pricey, but I can't deny that the shades I do have are pretty. What I wanted to do was show you that there are some great alternatives in terms of sparkly toppers to the Patrick Ta that will give a similar effect. And I'm going to compare it to D114. Something that I want to note about the Joocyee is that the different shades do have different textures and finishes. And shade-wise, this is not an exact dupe for the Patrick Ta, but it's definitely giving the same effect. You can see that in both examples, you have a larger sparkle particle size, which I do think is a big part of what makes each of these have the wow factor that they do. I find myself really gravitating toward Joocyee as a brand because they have very high quality products, very sparkly, and they have very reasonable price points. If you haven't checked out their single shadows, I do highly recommend them. Different places you can get them are going to be linked in the description box. Next, we're going to talk about Urban Decay's Space Cowboy. It's Urban Decay's most well-known Moonda shadow. I believe it's as well loved as it is because of the kind of scattered sparkle effect that you get with this shade, and because so many people love champagne sparkle. At $24, these are pricey, and I just feel like at this point there are shadows out there that do a better job than the Moonda shades. Not to discount that they're pretty, just a reality. And today I definitely have an example that I think personally is even more stunning than Space Cowboy. This is G01 from Judy Doll. Judy Doll is another Chinese beauty brand. They're affordable, they make beautiful products, and in general, they're becoming more widely accessible. I actually picked this shade up in store in New York. This is also a sparkly champagne, but personally, I find the sparkle on this one to be even more intense than Space Cowboy. But notice that you still get that beloved scattered sparkle effect. All right, next we have Clinique's Black Honey Lip Gloss, and actually this is my only product that's not sparkly. I just couldn't resist sharing about this. I learned about this dupe from Amanda Z. I'm gonna link her video in the description box. I love her content, and she also loves to talk about dupes. Black Honey is such a beloved shade, and I prefer it in the gloss because I love lip gloss in general. And I'm going to be comparing it to one of the new lip glosses from Fille, specifically Cherry Cola, in the 70% form, which means that this is the more pigmented of their two forms. Fille does a 70% and a 30% of each of their shades, which means that the 30% is a little bit more sheer and the 70% is more opaque. And you can see that these are really good dupes for one another. In terms of the finish themselves, I do feel like you get a little bit more shine with the Fille, which honestly I do personally prefer, and the Fille is more affordable at $17 compared to $25 for the Black Honey gloss. Next we have Pat McGrath's Earth Angel, and recently the shade has been trending because it was used on all of the Victoria's Secret Angels, and I actually already had it in my collection. I really like the Pat McGrath sparkly glosses, but they are pricey at $29. This shade has a very pale, kind of yellowy champagne base, and it has pink and pale champagne sparkles throughout. Really, the pink ones are the ones that are most prominent. Maybe on people with much lighter skin tone to me, you might be able to see that base pigment a little bit more, but on me it looks pretty sheer. I've got a couple of really great alternatives to Earth Angel. Starting off with NYX, we have one of their sparkly lip glosses. This is the shade called Bring the Bling. And if you haven't tried the sparkly glosses from NYX, I highly recommend it. They feel comfortable on the lips. They're only $6. This particular shade is pretty close to Earth Angel. You just see more prominent golden sparkles in it. And honestly, I feel like some people may prefer that. The next shade we have is from Kiko Milano. It's one of their sparkly lip glosses in the shade 49. If you haven't tried their sparkly glosses, they are really nice. You can get a lot of the shades on Ulta or on Amazon, and they retail for around $13. This particular shade I think is really close to Earth Angel. The sparkles in the Kiko gloss I think are a little bit smaller, but this shade is definitely very close to Earth Angel. Next product we have is from Fenty. It's one of their Gloss Bomb Luminizers, and actually this is a new shade. It's called Fenty Glow Fantasy. It's pretty similar to Fenty Glow. It is on the more sparkly side, as all of their fantasy glosses are. Now the kit itself retails for $44 or $42, somewhere around there. And if you really wanted this gloss but you didn't want the kit, then I think that this is a great alternative. This is another sparkly butter gloss from NYX, and this is the shade Shimmer Down. These are both medium opacity sparkly lip glosses that have a reddish orange base. They do have some different colors of sparkle in each shade, but in general you get a very similar effect when worn on the lips. I know I've talked about these sparkly glosses from NYX a few times now, and in general, they're just something I wouldn't sleep on. You get a great formula, great level of sparkle, and a very affordable price point. I do hope they extend this range though, because they need more shades. Next product we have is from Izumaya. This is a pretty iconic product. It's their sparkly lip gloss in the shade Metal. This is a really unique gloss in my collection. It has a very intense silver sparkle. I've honestly seen very little like it. If I had been making this video this time a year ago, I would have been able to include a gloss from NYX, but unfortunately that gloss is no longer available. Thankfully, I do have a fairly good alternative. We have a sparkly gloss from Hintor. This is the shade 99, and Hintor is a very high quality Chinese beauty brand, and the products are so reasonably priced. This gloss costs around $10. The main difference between these two shades is that the Hintor has much smaller sparkles and is much more highly concentrated, just in terms of how many sparkles it has in it, but it's very smooth, just as comfortable on the lips. And if you want a sheer gloss that has silver sparkles, I think this is a great alternative. Let me also use this as an opportunity to just let you know that they have some other really incredible shades. Okay, this next dupe I'm actually really excited about. This is the Dior Forever Glow highlighter, and it's the shade Blue Strobe. I know y'all already know how much I love colorful highlighters. This is a really intense icy blue highlighter, but it's super expensive. No surprise because it's Dior, but it retails for $52. Honestly, because it has that sparkle, I do think that in general, people will find this to be less approachable. It is really pretty though, but the brand that I'm going to mention is Laka, which is a K-beauty brand. And I learned about this highlighter from my friend Dara, so if you're watching this video, thank you so much, because I was really excited to try it. It retails for $17. It's buildable. It's also an icy blue, and it doesn't have sparkle. So I think this is definitely going to give you the vibes of Blue Strobe. And I actually do think a lot of people will prefer the Laka one. For day-to-day life, I personally would use the Laka more. In general, I particularly love icy blue tones in the wintertime. Last but not least, we have Fenty's How Many Carat Diamond Balm. I talked about this highlighter in my last video, but I do have another great dupe for it. I really do love How Many Carats. I feel like it's remained classic for a reason, and of these type of products, it's definitely one of the best out there that I've seen. And it's just so versatile. I even love using it as a little bit of a sparkly topper over an eyeshadow. And I am going to compare it to another product from Judy Doll. This is their highlighter in the shade 5. You can get this for around $10, which I think is absolutely fantastic. I love the packaging on the Judy Doll. It's so compact while still being aesthetically pleasing. You get the same scattered effect. In my opinion, you do have maybe just the slightest bit of a cast, but honestly, this is a really great dupe. And a lot of these really big C-beauty brands like Judy Doll, Joocyee, Girl Cult, they're becoming so much more widely available that obtaining them hasn't been as hard as it used to be. Now that we've had a chance to do some detailed swatches and try-ons, I would really love to hear what you think of these dupes. Have you tried any of the high-end products or any of the affordable options? And I'd also really love to hear if you know of any other great dupes. Ideally, I'd love to make this style of video at least once a month, and I'm always on the hunt for great sparkly dupes and alternatives. As always, I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.